Hi, welcome back. Today we're here with The Hide with Taylor Finger, game bird ecologist with the Wisconsin DNR, Mark Kakich with the Wildlife Federation, and Sawyer Briel with Vortex Optics. He's the brand and communication manager.
Wildlife Federation's The Hide.
This is awesome that we're here today.
Thanks, Sawyer.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. Glad I could kind of show you around Vortex. So we're down in Vortex Edge right now, which is kind of the shooting facility, education facility, which is even separate from the main building, which we were in when you guys first got here. So really cool campus. We got about 400 people working here. Lots of hunters, lots of shooters, lots of people that do what we do. So I think that always helps with a brand.
Yeah, it's crazy coming to Barneveld, and there's not a whole lot here, and then you guys just get over. We come over the hill, and you're like, this is a huge facility.
Yeah.
You guys
Great location.
Yeah.
It's really special. Tons of public land around here too, so that gets hit pretty hard by the majority of the people who work here. We're actually right behind the buildings, about I think 400 acres of conservancy land. So you can hunt back there, walk your dog. So
with all the binoculars looking out at it.
Right, what a piece, right?
Yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah, yep, it's a cool spot.
So today I think we want to kind of touch base with, talk about Vortex and, how you guys are currently contributing to conservation. Like, what is your guys' niche as it relates to conservation? Because you guys are doing a lot.
Great question. I think you got to back up a little bit to just the history of Vortex. So I'll just kind of give the quick and dirty. So Dan Hamilton, the founder, was over in Vietnam, came back on the GI Bill, came back to Indiana where he was actually a dentist, realized he didn't really want to be a dentist, moved with his family to Wisconsin, and they actually opened a Wild Birds Unlimited store.
Wait a minute. So you went from being a dentist to a wild bird store.
That's correct. And things started to kind of take off that way. They were selling other optics at the time. I think he had an inkling that they could do things a little bit better, both from a product and customer service standpoint. So then they started their own house brand, Eagle Optics, which was around still till about 4 years ago. And all of those are still covered under the Vortex warranty. So Vortex, as you kind of see it today, only about 20 years old. And when you think about the outdoor industry, you think of a lot of like legacy, like my granddad's brand, things like that. So we're kind
Winchester, like forever. They've been,
in the grand scheme of things, like we're still kind of the new kid on the block, and I think we take a lot of pride in that. There's a little chip on the shoulder, allows us to be really nimble. People are just really fired up to work here. Like I said, they hunt, they shoot, they do all the things. So it makes it really easy to come to work, and it just, from products we put out to our social media presence to just how we do things, it really just seeps into all that, and it just makes for a really genuine experience for the consumer.
It's still like a family business. I mean, right? That's
So we're technically employee owned.
okay.
Yeah. So privately held, will never be sold, but we are an employee owned company.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
So just again, it's crazy to think that within your lifetime, at least, there's a lot that's been happening, but maybe not so myself, but.
I was gonna say that's a long time, but and then I did actually say it out loud, so I guess I did say it, but
yeah, just
Friends, right? We're friends, right?
that you guys have come from a bird seed company, essentially like this bird store, to now you guys have stuff all across the country, and like one of the premier optics out there.
Yep.
When you think about it, from when Vortex just hit the market to where they are today, there are very few companies that have grown along with the reputation of really the company to compete with in optics, right? So, after 2 years, Vortex was there, right? That first year, Vortex, Wisconsin-based company.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years, Vortex wasn't just a Wisconsin-based mom-and-pop company. It was a worldwide, well-recognized company. And I think, in today's society, in business, we have a throwaway product, right? Vortex isn't a throwaway product.
You
In
stand
fact,
by it.
right. And having a warranty that Vortex has is really what's helped set their company and their product aside from many other companies.
Yep, and they were really trailblazers in that regard to start. And that stems to, one, treating the customer right, like very service-oriented. Doesn't matter if it was Wild Birds Unlimited or a company of 400 people. And then just trusting the product.
Yeah.
Because if a company had a VIP warranty and they didn't have good product, they'd be out of business.
Right.
Like it's not a good business model if you don't make good product.
Yeah. I mean, and it's pretty cool when we come in here, you come to the showroom and you can see some of the things that have been replaced and like just one, how well they did hold up. If they were in a fire, they got run over, but the fact that you guys did stand by it and said, hey, you know, this was our commitment to you.
So getting back to conservation, one of our strong partners at the Federation and in the podcast world here is the Wisconsin Waterfowl Association. And I know that you guys here at Vortex are working right now with Wisconsin Waterfowl Association on a property close to here, but that's just one of the things that you do in conservation. Why don't you hit on some of the local things that you're working on right now in conservation?
Yeah, so I think when you look at Vortex, obviously we've got a lot of consumers. You've got everything from MIL-LE, first responder, which is a huge part of our business and a huge just part of the ethos of the company of how we show support and the things we do. Then you've got conservation, that ties into like your R3, hunter recruitment, everything like that. And then you've just got the general outdoors too. Like obviously started as a Wild Birds Unlimited. So we've been able to, as we grow, kind of keep that culture of really being for a lot of people doing a lot of different things. It's a good question, right? Like what does Vortex do for conservation? And it's kind of a tricky answer because it really depends on kind of how you specifically want to lay that out. There's like I'm going to say micro and macro, but I don't mean it as differing in importance at all.
Yep.
But micro is like, absolutely we're going to support the capital branch of NWTF. Absolutely, we're going to donate product to RMEF for their banquet to raise funds for their projects. Working with local orgs like Wisconsin Waterfowl Association. And then you kind of span the spectrum to, then you've got these national orgs too, where National Deer Association, National Wild Turkey Federation, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. It's just a big scale of the things that we're able to do and the things you're able to do at those levels that can tangibly impact and improve at each level. Like at that corporate level, you're talking like, we want our money earmarked to support hunter recruitment, and we want to support the college chapters. Those are the people getting into hunting. And then on the ground level, it's like, if we're able to donate product and that product through raffle can raise $20,000, that can directly impact a local project. Not only that's going to help them, but the people that work here and anyone that likes to enjoy being outdoors in the state.
No, I mean, for National Wild Turkey Federation, local banquets that you guys do have, the raffle off Vortex things, all that money, we actually, the DNR, we got about $100,000 from the local chapters to help do habitat work here in Wisconsin. So yeah, that's absolutely a great way to help with conservation.
So there's not one straight answer, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, we do a lot for conservation, and it's the tricky part in that is picking your spot so you can be the most impactful. And that's, I think, again, working with local chapters all the way up to the national office, you know? So it's just making sure everything we do throughout that spectrum is impactful.
And has that grown? I mean, has this been, I imagine that as you guys continue to grow, your involvement in that continues to grow.
Yeah, and I think a big thing for us too is we're not just going to talk the talk, like we need to walk the walk.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say we support conservation. In today's day and age, and even if it wasn't that way, you got to have the receipts.
Right.
Like what are you doing? Show me what you're doing. Show me how it's affecting what I like to do. Show me how you're improving the outdoors for whether you like to hunt doves or turkeys. And we want to know that we can point to 8 different things when we're talking to someone at an event or whatever that likes to turkey hunt. It's like, oh yeah, we did this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And it's not to beat our chest, but we want to know, again, the things that we're doing, they have to make an impact.
I mean, from Wisconsin's perspective, that the fact that you guys do that and you are here and you have the commitment to your warranty for all of that, like, why wouldn't you? From that perspective as a sportsman and outdoorsman, even a person that's going to Horicon Marsh and going to look at birds, say, hey, yeah, you guys contribute to even more than just hunting. Like you said, you're diversifying your group of people, like whether they're, you know, like you said, law enforcement or that type of thing, or else it's just birders.
And I want to thank you for always supporting the endeavors that we embark on, right? With the Horicon Learn to Hunt program, you've helped us with that. But in return, when we had folks from Vortex participate in the professional piece, I think it was very clear for them to see that not only are they participating in a sport, but the impact that their company has on that sport, I think helps the sport, because the people, when they go back to work, they have a direct tie, right? And I think that community isn't shared amongst a lot of other companies in the industry.
Yep.
And I think, we're lucky that Vortex is a local company, and we see that tie every day, whether it's through WWA, WWF, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. When we give a talk at a birding club, probably 80% of the people have a Vortex optic.
Right.
And where 10 years ago, let's be realistic, that wasn't necessarily the case.
Yep.
And when we are up there, one of the things people ask are, why do you say so many high things about Vortex? And it's not just because of the warranty, but it's their commitment that they've had to the programs and endeavors that we have in conservation.
And I think I'd put myself in this bucket too, and I would assume you both. Like in today's day and age, and for some people it's been always this way, but I think it's come on a little stronger, is when you're thinking about where you're going to put your money as a consumer or companies you're going to support, I need to know they believe what I believe and they're doing the things, right? Like that's becoming more and more important, not just within the hunting and shooting community, but I think elsewhere too. It's like if I'm going to support a company, like I need to know what they support and what are they doing to give back. Like it's a very important thing. And it's not just from a sales perspective either. It's just the right thing to do.
Right. Yeah, it's a responsibility on our end. Is like, is that money going towards a quality investment?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Someone's going to look at the podcast and they're going to say, why did they go to Vortex? And it's simple. Why did we go to Vortex? Because Vortex has a message to tell, right? And it's not buy my product. It's why we are a player in conservation, right? We're not just a company that sells optics. We're a company that supports conservation, and that's why we're here.
And again, I can't overemphasize when we do a tour around Vortex and you see the 400 people that are here, it is like a family. It's a community here. It's not just, we're going into this room and this is an office and you guys are all, disassociated from each other. Like you guys do care about what your work is and then ultimately what the product is that, the consumer wants.
Absolutely. And I think anyone in the building would tell you too, doesn't matter if you buy our product or not, we want you out doing the things.
Yeah.
Like we want you getting someone new into shooting, getting someone new into hunting or birding, spending time outside, whether it's with our product or not. Anything kind of that high tide rises all ships. The more people we can get into the things that we like to do, it's going to be better for everyone. And that's just kind of how we've always operated. And I think it's allowed us to separate ourselves a little bit.
So before we wrap it up today, when I came in here, I see a lot of young folks working. But when I met some of the folks, they're from a lot of different areas. And I think that, again, speaks volumes to the company, right? So there are people from all over the country that have now taken up residence in Wisconsin to work for Vortex. And I think you supply a good job. You supply a job in a field where a lot of folks right now aren't quite sure, right? Because they don't have a lot of experience. We find out with the Learn to Hunt for Professionals that we don't have a lot of folks coming out of college that have hunted or fished. But here you have a group of young folks in a company working in that environment that maybe they don't have that experience, but they've expressed the willingness to learn and understand the passion and desire for conservation.
And it's really fun too, people that work here, like obviously it's not a requirement that you hunt or shoot to work here, nor will it ever be. But what we want to do is when someone does work here, we want to make sure that every resource we can physically make available, whether it's our time or learning more about the product, is available to them so they can experience it. And it's really fun to see that light bulb turn on with people, whether like we do an internal Learn to Hunt, we'll take them turkey hunting, deer hunting, just seeing that light bulb turn on and you see them back at work once they come back and it's like, it's different. Something's just different.
You're that much more committed to what you're doing.
Everything just makes a little more sense.
Well, again, thanks, Sawyer. I do want to thank you for having us here, enjoying, us having the hide and really just sharing what Vortex does for the outdoor community.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
I can't wait. I want to tour this great facility.
We can do that.
I'm all right.
We can do that.
Again, thanks, Mark, for whatever it is that you do.
Not much.
Chase Baker with Grit for making all of us look really good. And again, thanks. Tune into the next episode.